Welcome to another video from Let's Drink Tea. Today we're going to be brewing Darjeeling tea, which is an Indian black tea, though technically it's actually an oolong tea, not a black tea. It's not fully oxidized. Actually not sure why they call it black tea, but they do. It's probably one of the most famous teas in the world. It's certainly the most famous Indian tea and the most famous black tea. So yeah, it's actually a great tea too, one of my favorites. The only problem is that most of what you buy in the market is actually not even real Darjeeling. They only make something like I can't remember the exact numbers, but maybe 11,000, I think it was, tons per year. But 40,000 tons are actually sold as Darjeeling. So clearly, like 75% of what is sold is actually fake. Most likely, this is fake too. This came from Amazon. This is Vadam. I don't know, it's a brand that sells a lot on Amazon. I've gotten a couple of their teas and tried them out. Some of them are good, some of them are not that good. They do a great job with the packaging. It always looks beautiful, but the tea's not always the best, but it's decent and it's inexpensive. In this case, the Darjeeling, it's good. I like it, but it's certainly not the greatest. And like I said, there's a great chance it's fake. Just because it wasn't very expensive. So to brew it, you basically want to use 1 teaspoon of tea per 8 ounces of water. Since this is a 20-ounce cup, that would mean 2.5 teaspoons. I often fill it up a little bit more than need to, just because I like to have it a little bit stronger. And I use large teaspoons, but you can see these are the leaves. I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but it's you can tell it's not fully oxidized. It's still more green than a black tea would look. And you'll see that when it brews too. It doesn't brew as dark as a real black tea. There we go. So that's 2. Try to make the last one a little bit smaller, but like I said, I usually go a little bit more with the leaves. In fact, I'll add a few more. It looks a little empty in there. There we go. And for water, you want to use water that's not quite boiling because, like I said, it isn't really a black tea. It's technically an oolong, so you want to brew it with the same temperature as one, which is 80 to 90 degrees Celsius, or that's about 180 to 194 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so let's put some water in there. And you can see it's pretty quick to take on color, but it is more yellowish than a black tea would look. Definitely more of an oolong color than a black color. The steeping time for this tea is, let me see what it says. Generally for for Darjeeling, the recommended steeping time is 2 minutes. This says 3 to 5 on the package. I'm going to guess all of that is too long. I almost never steep for the fully recommended time. If you're doing it for the first time, you can go ahead and see. And then experiment, reduce the steeping time by a lot and see if you still like what you get. If you do, then go with that, because that means you can actually use the tea leaves more times if you steep for less time the first time, the second time, the third time. But for me, this actually already has a pretty nice color. I'm going to let it get a little bit darker, but it's certainly not going to be steeping for 2 minutes. There's no need for that. And like I said, it never takes on the color of a black tea, so you're not really looking for that color anyways. You're looking for kind of what it looks like now, just maybe a little bit darker if you want it a little bit stronger. Okay, I think it's pretty good. Some of this also depends on the tea you buy. Some Darjeeling teas, they will brew darker than this one. This one is a fairly, like I said, a fairly fine one. It says premium spring black tea. I mean, that means it's a first flush spring. So it's one of the better ones. It also means it doesn't brew as dark. Yeah, to me that looks good. That's the color it should have. It's already quite saturated, so it's fairly strong. Definitely doesn't need to be any stronger. And like I said, I will actually get about 4 or 5, maybe even 6 steeps out of this over the course of the day. So there's no need to make it stronger now. All right, let's take it out. And there you have it. That's how you brew Darjeeling tea. As always, thank you for watching.